All right. We are recording. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Theresa Buchheister, and I'm at the Brick Theater right now, and I'm one of the curators and founders of the Exponential Festival. And with me today is my mom. Say hello.
Good evening, everyone. Hello. um, yes, I'm Teresa's mom, Carol Buchheister, and I've never been to an exponential festival, but I love the arts. I love the avant-garde art, whatever form it's in. And so I'm excited to see some of what's going on, to hear about what's going on with Exponential.
Awesome. Well, and this year it's exciting because, you and Dad and as many of our family members as possible come up and support Title Point and have been to all sorts of weird shows, but just never Exponential. The timing has never worked out. But this year, because it's all digital, uh, everyone gets to experience it. It doesn't matter where you are. So it's really exciting. So the goal here is to give my mom and everyone else via this conversation a little glimpse into what's going on. So a couple of disclaimers. One, if my internet gets unstable, I'm going to turn off my video and it'll look like that. And we'll just keep on trucking. That's Brooklyn internet for you. And two, uh, I'll describe a whole bunch of things, and then if my mom has questions or thoughts, she'll chime in and we'll just have a conversation. There's nothing scripted. We're going rogue. All right, I'm going to open my beer. Great. Let's get this show on the road. Cheers, Mom. All right.
Cheers, Teresa.
Weird. I never drink beer, but it's nice and crisp. Thanks, Narragansett, for the sponsorship. Now they'll hopefully give us a bunch of money. Okay, so we have a bunch of artists. So I'm going to just go in chronological order. Every night is going to have a different offering in January. So the very first project that's happening is Theater in Quarantine with Joshua William Guild and Katie Rose McLaughlin. And there are a couple of times where I'm going to share my screen. Please don't anyone be triggered by how many tabs I have open. It's actually not too bad today, but some days it's really bad. That's not too many tabs. So Josh and Katie have been working on this project since the beginning of quarantine, and theirs will be the only show in the festival that is 100% live. Because they've been really working on refining that skill for day in and day out this entire time. So at the beginning of quarantine, Josh built this little performance space in his East Village apartment. And it basically transformed his closet into a mini stage. And Katie Rose is a great choreographer and dancer and director, so has been working with Josh to create all these pieces. So I'll just play a little bit. So it's very, it's such a cool idea and so unique to their resources, which is something that Exponential is always excited about. One thing that I'm really excited about the potential of is that they've been creating a new performance every 2 weeks, but they usually do it twice. So Josh has to be able to reset the space really quickly. But this time, since they're just doing it once and that's the premiere and that's the show, and then it'll be up on the YouTube after that, he'll get to potentially make a mess. And you know how much I love a messy show. And that I think could be really cool. So it'll be some dance, it'll be some music, it'll be hopefully some mess, and it'll be live. You'll be seeing it as it's happening. Ugh, the beer's already making me burp.
I I am looking forward to seeing that. I love the space because it shows you that we can do anything in a box. And I feel like we are stuck in a box right now. And right away I just kind of resonated with that, and I appreciate that they're making use of it, and I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, same. It's inspiring, you
Beautiful.
know.
But I
It,
saw a little, yes, it is. It is. Very much so.
constraints can
I
be
liked it.
things that sort of set you free from time to time, you know. It's like what do I have to work with, and what are
Yes.
the things that I can't do? But now let me make something anyway.
Yeah.
So then after
And
that
we can
is
do amazing things.
yeah. So you can do so many things. It's uh, we're always working with constraints. Next up is, oh, and that show, I should look at my master calendar just so that I can say that out loud. That show will be on January 7th at 9 p.m. On January 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern, I'm talking all Eastern times right now. Apologies. I'm not going to do the math to figure out the other times, but it's all on the Exponential website, the exponentialfestival.org. January 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern is Sunny Hits on View, WFH. And Sunny is performing in a storefront. So it'll be a durational performance that she does December 13th in a storefront in Chinatown, and records, and then uses that and sort of the responses of the people walking by. Sunny's a dancer and choreographer and performance artist and actor, like does many things, but will take that sort of live performance that is in front of an audience but safe, and then edit it into a video that will premiere in January. So if it's safe, I'm going to go down to Chinatown on the 13th and stroll by the storefront window that Sunny is performing in. So it's a different kind of box. We're going to be examining a lot of different kinds of boxes.
I like
So then
that.
the
I
next
like
night
that.
is January 9th at 9 p.m. And this is our first split bill. So some nights are one artist and some nights are multiple artists, which is true of Exponential in the past. You know, we've talked about this before, where sometimes a piece in its fullness and its like final creation is 10 minutes long or 20 minutes long. Like a novella is a full piece of literature. It's not trying to be a novel, you know. A short story is not trying to be a novel, it is a short story. So a shorter performance can be its entire thing, without needing to be a full hour or however long. So this night I'm super excited about has 3 artists that their pieces really resonate with each other, and that's why we put them on a night together. Theresa Braun is one. I believe you've met Theresa. They're my Canadian friend that performs sometimes as Peter Funk, the Canadian Mennonite running for president in 2020. I'm sure he's still campaigning. You can't stop Peter Funk. Theresa also plays a character named Egregious Philbin, and does all sorts of, we have the same initials, TB, but their name is spelled with no H. So that's the only way you can tell us apart. But Theresa's doing a thing called virtual queerality, and they're creating this sort of digital space. And I'm going to share my screen again, where they've been messing around a lot with avatars during this time. You can like turn yourself into characters, and they've been creating this
wow.
space where you can wander around and you can hear the narratives of a variety of queer stories and performances that usually are not the featured event. And so this is sort of a fantasy reality land that Theresa has created for
Wow.
all of these people to exist. And they tried
Oh my
to
goodness.
show me how to use it. And I'm very bad at video games. I didn't really grow up playing them very much. So I was in the virtual space as my avatar, just like hitting my head into the wall in the corner. And I was like, Theresa, how do I move? I don't know what I'm doing. And they were like, follow the sound of my voice. And I was like, I don't know. I'm so bad at this. Um, so they're making this
Oh my gosh.
piece.
That
And then,
sounds awesome.
yeah, it's going to be a real trip. And then hopefully after all three performances, Theresa will invite anyone who wants to try to actually come and hang out in real time in that virtual space. And it'll sort of be like going to a bar after a
Ah,
show.
oh my gosh. That sounds awesome. That would involve quite a few of my senses. I would have to be able to hear and touch and hand. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That sounds yeah.
it's exploring.
Multi.
You know, you want to
That's
utilize everything.
amazing. Yeah,
Cool. So then also on
that
that night,
sounds amazing.
yeah, you're gonna love it. You're gonna be like, how is this even possible that we're in the future? Um, then
Oh,
also on that night is Tina Wang, who I saw perform this past January and was just like mesmerized. Was part of the Exponential Festival, and that's how I met Tina. But they did this thing at Panoply Performance Lab, crawling backwards down a ladder while performing with all of these different props. And it was dance and performance art, and
oh
it
my.
was really funny, but it was incredibly physical. Um, and
Mhm.
Tina's sort of exploring what comfort does for us. Does it make us sort of lazy and complicit, or does it make us capable of like bearing ourselves into the ability to survive? Like, what does comfort do to us, and what, how do we feel about that?
That sounds a little, that sounds complex, but I like the physicality of it. It sounds like it will be quite interesting. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how that comes out because that's just, I like physicality
Yeah,
in sounds like a good challenge.
yeah, I feel like it'll be
Wow.
a conversation generator. And it'll be
Yeah,
partially because of the content
definitely.
and partially because of the performance. Then the third person on that night,
Hmm.
I'm so
Yeah,
excited
might.
about. Oh, what was that?
Oh, I was going to say it'll be challenging because it might make people feel a little uncomfortable, and we need to do that sometimes, be a little uncomfortable. Just saying. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I love it. No, that's like keep dropping these like bombs of wisdom. That's exactly the kind of response that that art generates. You know. So last on that bill is Kenny Zhao, and Kenny's was one of those applications that I read, and I was just like, this is going to be incredible, and I'm so excited for it. Um, so they're doing, I'm going to share my screen again. Um, their performance includes all of these different elements. So they're incredibly visual and vibrant in the things that they
Oh,
create. And it's just like collage meets cultural references,
oh my
meets physicality and like incredible design and transformation. It like Kenny is just so
God.
inspiring. Um, and so when they applied and I was looking at all of like just got sucked into the website because I was like, what? This is so incredible.
Mhm.
Um, so this one involves aspects of Pokemon, or not Pokemon. Oops, no, don't sue me, Pokemon. Teletubbies, got Pokemon on the brain. But Teletubbies, which I also, right when I moved to New York, Avern and Michelle and I only got like 2 channels. And one of them on Sunday mornings played Teletubbies and Boobas. And so we would watch that on Avern's tiny TV all the time. So I'm like very well versed in Teletubbies. Uh, but another thing that Kenny provided in the application was a little video that also had a sort of poem underneath it. So I'm going to read that poem real quick because I was just like, this makes so much sense. So the poem goes, I started making nature in my room. Sky is better when it's on the screen. Didn't you desire the touch of clouds as well? I tried it. It was smooth and sturdy with a bit of warmth from my heated gaze all day. I'm devoted to staring. I love when my eyeballs are rubbing on the thin layer of plastic to get to the colors underneath. Stitch the colors on me if you can. I'd like some jade with a tint of blue. Sounds like a nice tea to drink and dream of the spring. And, you know, like the art that comes out of this time is not just going to be about people wearing masks and feeling lonely and isolated. It's going to be about all of these internal worlds and collaborations and relationships that we're building with ourselves and with others. And I feel like Kenny's work is really speaking to that in a way that resonates with me quite a bit. So that's just night number 3.
Wow. Okay, I'll be quiet so you can keep going. But
I know
that is
there's so much to cover.
Visually, in my mind, I'm going, I'm there. I am there because visually that was amazing.
Yeah, it's just
amazing.
You get sucked in.
And we need that. Well, we need that, right? Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's, you know, that's the release of art. That's the beauty of it that we need. So then the next day is one of my favorite groups and oldest friends, Object Collection. They're January 10th at 5 p.m. And their show is called Look Out, Shithead. And Object Collection I've known for years. Travis Just is one of the people that is making the brick possible this year with me and Ryan. And they create work that is like so textured and layered with visuals and visual metaphor and meaning and composition at the same time as Travis composes the music and always has this like incredibly complicated, often very loud sort of musical composition to each piece. And this one is sort of taking inspiration from Eric Romer, who's a French sort of post-World War II new wave filmmaker and journalist and a vampire. And putting those together into a show called Look Out, Shithead.
I'm there for that.
Right? I mean, just the title alone. I always tell people, get a title that makes people want to see it. And yeah.
Yeah, that would make me go, okay, I need to know more about this. Right?
100%.
Exactly.
So then we pause for a few days and we have a split bill that following Wednesday at January 13th at 9 o'clock is a split bill between Nick Adams and Lee Raymond. So you've definitely met Nick Adams. He's one of my oldest and dearest exponential collaborators, just like source of strength and wisdom and patience. And he's collaborating with an old friend of his, Lee Raymond. And this night has the longest titles in Exponential. Theirs is called Stiff Drink with Dr. Eustace Sissy. Presents Corona Cam Show. So Dr. Eustace Sissy is, you know, and I'll pull up an image because I feel like Lee's visage in this is very necessary to sort of understand his vibe. But he's sort of like an insane host, offers advice sings songs, occasionally does very bizarre things. And so this one is
I
sort of,
like it already.
this night is going to be wacky. This is probably one of the wackiest nights out there. So we got Dr. Sissy, and then we also have that night Leonie Bell, who is a dear friend, and I'm gonna not do this German well, but Leonie is from Berlin, and actually went to the same high school, I think, as Dirk Homan, who you've met, the immunologist whose son Quaylen went to the University of Kansas and just graduated.
Really?
So they're from the same area of Berlin. But Leonie's show is called Einst träumte ich von
Yeah.
dir, a maybe myth of runny nuns. So Leonie is going to be playing a bunch of different nuns. And so it's sort of
I like it already.
right. There are gonna be things that I think you'll get on a different level.
Well, no single nun is the same as another nun. I'm just telling you.
That's true. And
I don't know. All I know is I know there's a lot of different reasons nuns become nuns. That I do know.
that is true.
Anyway, I'm there.
Yeah, Leonie's going to play a bunch of different nuns, cranky nun, sleepy nun, hyper nun, a nun who loves gardening, so it's just going to be, it'll be very funny.
I'll have Dad watch that.
Yeah, that's a good dad show. I think he'll be very entertained.
For sure.
I don't know that it's approved of by the Catholic Church, but we'll see. But it's gonna be very funny.
Yeah.
So the next day, January 14th at 8 p.m. Eastern, is an outskirt, which I'm very excited about. They're doing a piece that is a sort of song cycle. And so Chaitanya, I work with at Brickshop Audio. And, he was working there, I was working there. And then Samara and Amy was like, hey, you should talk to Chai. Like, he's a really great musician, and his wife and his daughters are also incredibly talented. And they're, looking for opportunities to perform. He's, they're from the Philippines, and, are just like looking for places to do stuff here. So I was like, oh, totally. So they did a show last November, just a year ago, at Vital Joint, and it was amazing. And I was like, oh my gosh, everyone needs to see what they're doing. So then when we started doing Out of an Abundance of Caution, the Sunday night Twitch show that I do with Lauren Miller and Jess Almacy, Chai was one of the first people I thought of. I was like, you have to perform stuff. You're at home with your incredibly talented family. Could you do a show? So now more people that I know who they are because of this Twitch, and so this is just another way that I get to introduce them to more people, because it's just absurd how talented they are, and the stories that they're telling are not stories that I've heard, and so I can't suggest them more highly. Then the next night,
and this is his wife. Oh,
yeah, Joy and Chai will be doing most of this, and their daughter Nadia did the poster for it.
Your daughter.
Yeah, okay. They have two daughters, and they're both like so talented, and also teenagers. I think Nadia's 16, and the other daughter's 13, and so they're at home in Brooklyn with two teenage daughters. Can you imagine?
Wow.
but they're doing good.
I can't.
Yeah. So then the next night on January 15th is Fringe and Fur, who you might remember from, they did this the only run of a show in the Brick this year that we got to do, the Hopelessly Hopeless Story of All Good Girls, which you can see up on the Brick YouTube.
Yes.
And
yeah,
that show, I think I saw it 5 times live. But then I watched it on YouTube multiple times, and it's just like Janae and Kelsey and their whole team are just like some of the most beautiful lyrical composers. Like they compose theater. It's really exciting. And this piece is about 2 teenage girls living in a small river town, and there will be some mystery and some secrets and some intrigue, but also, you know, the whole thing will just be poetic and like dance, but not dance, you know. Uh, so if you saw the Hopelessly Hopeless Story of All Good Girls, you have a good sense of their sort of aesthetic. So I think you'll really like that one. Uh-oh, I'm frozen. So I'm turning off my video, and I'm hoping that it will come back. I can't tell. I don't even know what this will be like when it's recorded. Is it recording me? Is the whole thing frozen? Uh-oh. Oh no. All right, so we're recording again. I'm keeping my video off because this is our 3rd time trying to start part 2 after getting booted by an unstable internet. So you can look at my gorgeous headshot here and my mom. So we were talking about January 16th is Jess Barbagallo and Comrade Barbie. Jess's piece is called The Puzzler's Return, tentatively, and Comrade Barbie's is called Comrade Barbie, Let's Go Party. And I'm super excited for both of these. They're both sort of examining things of our past culturally that have affected us and maybe influenced us. But now you look at them and you think, wow, how would I be if I was interacting with that for the first time now? Would it resonate in the same way? Was it problematic? How did it shape me? So Jess's thing is sort of looking at Samuel Beckett, not the character from Quantum Leap, but the Irish playwright who sort of changed theater in so many ways, and influenced a lot of young experimental artists. And they're also sort of putting that in a blender with their main collaborator, Jess Barbagallo. Oh my goodness, brain fart. Jess Barbagallo is working with his main collaborator, Emily Davis. I'm a big fan of both of their performances over the years. I've seen them for many, many years in New York. They're so talented, and fascinating and funny and weird. And hopefully Jess will be visiting here later tonight to glean some inspiration from the theater space, the actual physical walls of a theater, and think about filming some stuff here for the project. But so they're putting it in a blender with a sort of life coach. And the life coach is sort of re-examining their role as well. And then Comrade Barbie is looking at Schoolhouse Rock and the way that you learned as a kid. Oh, that was my dad in the background. Hi, Dad. The way that Schoolhouse Rock sort of taught us history and lessons and things like that, but they're really taking this new view on things through animation and voiceover and performance, and it'll be a really fun night. So then moving right along, since we've had a couple of hiccups, the next day, the 17th, is Dipali Gupta, who I feel like you might have met at some point, Mom, but Dipali is an incredible musician and singer and composer. And when Dipali did Out of an Abundance of Caution earlier this year, they were singing and then like whipped out a violin. And I was just like, what? Oh no. You're frozen again. Dang it. Why is this doing this to me, internet? But Zoom says I'm still talking. Oh, there you're back. Okay. Ugh. Well, at least this time it didn't boot us off entirely. But now it's frozen again. And it says that I'm talking. It says, but I bet it's like all frozen. And I'm like, what is it actually doing? Okay. Well, I'll get like little snippets of you and then it freezes again. Dang it. Dang it all. Oh, now I feel like you're back. Okay. Mom, just as a test, well, no, it's fine. So I think that we're okay that this is raw, this is live, we're doing this, no edit.
This is real. This is life.
2020.
2020, yes.
Get that wine. So yeah, so Dipali Gupta is the next one. Hers is called Perverse Reverie Forever. Dipali loves a sort of wordplay in her music, and she's creating visuals to this album that she's created with some really incredible collaborators. So super excited for that. It'll be music, it'll be enchanting, it will be depressing and beautiful and interesting all at once.
Actually, I like the sound of that.
Oh yeah, you'll be like, I want this whole album. Then the next Wednesday, we skip a couple of days every week. We skip Monday and Tuesday. We come back. Oh, actually, you know what? No, it's going to be on Tuesday because it was going to be on Wednesday, but we changed it so it wouldn't be on the inauguration day. So Tuesday the 19th instead of Wednesday the 20th. That's important to remember. That night is an incredible split bill of performance artists. We have Amanda Hunt and Ivy Castellanos on a bill with Salome Egas and Stacy Lynn Smith and Alex Romano. So it's a big night of some very visceral, physical performers. Ivy and Amanda are not even on the same continent right now, so they're having to learn how to create together in a way that they've never had to before. And everything that they do is just like, you know, smashing clay pots with their heads, you know. It's like, it's so physical, and it's like, how is that going to work? But you know, they're so creative and in tune with each other that they'll figure out something cool. Then Salome last year, or just this past January, did a piece at Parallel, which was the space across the street from Vital Joint, where she covered herself in paint and it just made this incredible, beautiful mess. And I was just like, this is exactly what I want to be seeing. I think that I was standing next to John Birkland, who was filming, and I think we all got paint on us. And I was like, yes, this is why I go see live performance.
Yeah.
So Salome plays with a lot of colors and how those colors sort of influence her art and identity and performances. And then Stacy Lynn and Alex are doing a piece. They're both dancers and performance artists. They run a space called The Woods in Queens. And yeah, they're just very, very rigorous, I would say. So that night is going to be a physical gauntlet, I have a feeling.
Wow.
Then the next night we have Pioneers Go East Collective, who, depending on when we put this up on the internet, they're performing in Out of an Abundance of Caution this coming Sunday. And they're doing, I've known these guys forever. You met Gianmarco Laforte, who's one of the main members of the company. He came to our performance of The Room that you saw. He's a very handsome Italian gentleman. He brought me flowers.
Yes.
And I was just covered in blood.
I remember. Yeah.
So Gianmarco is creating this piece with several great collaborators, and it's sort of examining the idea of the people the posters on your wall that sort of inspired you as a kid. And for Daniel Diaz, one of the performers, it was Josephine Baker. And sort of like the obsession with celebrity, the obsession with someone who has this star power, how that influences you, how that helps shape your identity as you grow older and sort of grow into yourself, and where that allows you to exist in the world. And so I'm so excited about that. And they did a show 2 weeks ago on Out of an Abundance of Caution. So all of that stuff will be up on the Brick YouTube to sort of see sneak peeks as to what their in January might be like. Then on the next night, Friday, the 22nd, is a split bill between Chris Ignacio. His piece is called How to Sing, a Survival Guide, and Darian Deshawn called Liftoff. And this one's really exciting as a pairing because they're both using music and totally different kinds of music to sort of create a narrative and a sort of journey story. Chris his mom was a sort of well-renowned singer in the Philippines, and Chris is this great composer and pianist and performer. And so he's created this car that sort of looks like a Pee-wee's Playhouse kind of car. And he's on a road trip, and he's using green screen and puppets and all these sorts of things. He sort of opens the glove box, and inside is his mom, and on the windows there are things, and he's using this sort of road trip story to teach people how to sing. So, and the role that music has played in his life and his family's life. And then Darian is doing, I've been a huge fan of Darian for years. The first time I saw him perform, I went up to him after and was like, I need to know you. You're so incredible. And so he's a big fan of sci-fi. So he does sort of sci-fi hip hop, and he uses a sampler and like loops his own voice. And it's just like, it's nuts. And I love working with him because it's I'm always just amazed at the sheer talent and ambition. You know, he's like one of the most talented people I know, but he doesn't rest on that, and he's always challenging himself and pushing himself. So this one is a sci-fi rom-com.
Oh wow.
I'm like, well, that's a new genre, so
I could get into that. Yeah, sounds good.
Love in the future.
Yes. Or now, even.
Right? Let's transport ourselves. So then the next night is Saturday night, and that's another double bill. It's a music group called Yakas, and I met Yakas through Out of an Abundance of Caution, and immediately like went to their website, bought their albums. I was like, this duo is so much fun. And they're wacky, they're happy, they're, you know, it just like watching them like makes me smile uncontrollably. And then Yugia Low is also on that bill. And Yugia, who just came by today to pick up a bunch of magazines to make some animations, is doing a show called Animal Empire. And it's sort of an animals versus humans kind of situation where maybe the animals win. And
that's not too far-fetched.
Right? So I was like, that's gonna be a weird night. I'm pretty stoked on that one. That's on Saturday the 23rd. Then on Sunday the 24th is Tessa Barlow Oxhorn. And her show is called How to Wake Up! ! This is one of the ones that I was telling you about before. Yeah. And the idea is like how to wake up in happiness and kindness every day, and how do we just wake up? And during it, she's going to like scramble eggs and be doing all of these sort of rituals. And I'm really excited to see what comes out of this. This is one of the first, I think this is the first sort of piece that she's created out of college on her own, which is really exciting as well to see what art you generate on your own solo. It's exciting. It's a time to do that.
Sounds good. Subject matter is something that everyone should see.
Yeah.
Right now. I'm interested in that. Yeah.
I think about it literally every day.
Yes.
Depending on what time I wake up.
Exactly. Or multiple times that we wake up. Yeah.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Then the following Wednesday, so that would be the 27th, is another split bill. It's Sanaz Gajar, who's doing a cool, weird interpretation adaptation of Macbeth with my fellow collaborator Jess Almacy from Out of an Abundance of Caution. And Sanaz is one of those directors that just every time I see the sort of like collage of inspirations that they bring together, I'm always just so amazed at the connections that she draws and the worlds that she creates by weaving together worlds that we're all familiar with. It's really cool. And then Ben Holbrook is the other person on that night, and he's doing a sort of audio meditation called Theater Immaterial, and it's a guided meditation with sound. And Ben just has like an incredible voice and presence, and so I feel like that will, hopefully transport a bunch of different people in their own individual spaces, but we'll all go on this little guided meditation together.
That sounds amazing. Wow.
Then the next day, January 28th, is Panoply Performance Lab, and that's Esther Neff, who's currently in St. Louis, has been there for a while. They're working at, Esther is working at the Marsh Collective, which I'm doing a little screen share. I want to be able to go to my tabs. There we go. So the Marsh Collective has a lot of different goals. They're a cooperative. They focus on culture, performance and gathering, provision, cooperative diner and kitchen, a garden site, and habitat, residency, emergency, and transitional housing. So they're really bringing together all of these elements of existing in this world and being respected as a human being, and helping each other not only survive, but give back and be responsible. And I just have so much respect for Esther and everything that she does. So this piece is interesting because it will actually be a series of short videos where you can watch it in two different ways. You can either choose the order in which you want to watch them by clicking on the short videos and picking the next one you want to see. And that will create a unique narrative depending on what order you put them in. Or you can watch a longer version that Esther put together and chose the sequence. So it's sort of you can choose your own adventure, or you can experience this thing in the order that Esther put it. Okay, we're nearing the end. Then the next night is another double bill. The first act is Elpitha and Camilo, and they're artists that I met this year that I'm just obsessed with. The first night that I actually met them and sat down to talk, we just talked for hours. They're filmmakers who have been creating a live outdoor performance a lot during this time. And this piece is called um, Night Descends at Svalbard. And it is sort of a rumination on the fear of night, um, death, identity, the way that we sort of unveil ourselves over time and learn about ourselves. Um, and it'll be really cool. I can't wait for that. And it's on a split bill with Annabella Linzu, who you saw her piece earlier this year on the Brick Archival series. Um, and she was doing the performance where she was had multiple cameras and was using like crayons and chalk to sort of outline parts of her body. And it was about being how motherhood changed her relationship to dance. And so this piece is ruminating on similar themes. It's called The Night That You Stopped Acting. And it's sort of about her relationship to womanhood, motherhood, and being an immigrant. And so yeah, we talked about her piece before, and so I feel like you'll definitely be down for this one.
She was amazing. Oh my gosh. Yeah. In many, many ways. Wow.
Yeah. Then we only have 2 nights left. Oh my goodness, so many things. So the second to last night of the festival, the 30th, January 30th, Saturday, is Wimoto Nyoka's And Then I Wake Up, which is a sort of like audio play horror story. Oh yeah.
Horror stories.
So
oh,
it's
great.
spooky. And it'll have visuals. They're creating these sort of long scrolls of drawings that as the story is being told, the scroll will sort of unveil this sort of moving image.
Amazing.
Like 30-foot scrolls.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then the split bill with one of my favorite groups, Underlords. That's Eleanor Vanderberg and Drew Vanderberg, who were the main actors in Periscope, the piece that I directed with Object Collection that Ryan wrote the script for. So that's Eleanor and Drew that you saw on screen there. And they're incredible. Drew is a great saxophonist. Eleanor is a great actor, writer, costume designer. And they're doing a sort of radio play version of their play Bloodshot, which is basically about this insomniac town where people just start exploding.
Oh, wow.
So that night is going to be intense. Yeah.
We're going to be left with that memory.
Yeah, you can't get it out. You can't get it out of your head.
Oh gosh. Awesome.
So then the very final night is Hannah Kallenbach, who is a fellow Kansan, who you met at a salon in the recording studio room of Silent Barn. And she has a
way back.
Yeah, way back, going way back.
Yeah.
She's doing a sort of love story with a Purell dispenser.
It could happen. It could happen.
A likely story. And she's just such a brilliant performer, unlike anyone I know. The ideas that just bounce around, but then also become reality. You know, she's one of those people who actually makes the wild ideas that live in her head, and I just have so much respect for that. And then we'll close it all out with Jose Maria Rivera, who will be doing music, dance, fantasy sequences with lots of color and glitter and bodysuits, and it'll be so much fun. It'll be like a pop extravaganza. And it's just sort of the way that I can't imagine like ending it any other way, you know?
Good way to end it, yes. Oh my gosh, Teresa, it just sounds so amazing. So much creativity each night, so much variety. Oh my gosh. It's like going to a buffet that has everything you like in it, and you just keep going back because you want more. Oh, wow. And so this begins, my question begins January
January 7th.
7th. Okay. And it will end on
January 31st.
January 31st. Wow. And so all I need to do is look on the site for the exponential, and I get the dates, the times, and what's going on, correct?
Exactly. And, right now we have the dates and times and information about the shows and,
Mhm.
photos and things like that. Um, and this month we'll be adding to that site links to YouTube, which the
Ah,
Exponential Festival's YouTube channel is
oh,
where those will all be taking place. So also when you go
awesome.
there, you'll be able to see, like you did with the Brick Archival series, you
Right,
go and you're like,
right.
oh, this is going to be premiering on this day.
And so, right. And so when do the performances vary in time each day or when they perform, or is it this around the same time each time?
It's
Each,
around the same time, but because of some different sort of like uh, needs and days of the week and things like that, there's they do vary. So it's good to definitely check the site.
I want to, I want to keep my evenings open for this.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
Oh my
get out your
gosh.
date book and, remind yourself of the shows that you're like, ooh, these are the ones that I really am excited to see. And you can also see them after they air. But,
Yeah.
when you watch them on the premiere, you're getting to watch them with other people. The artists
Yeah.
need 100% of the donations that come in during their performances. So it's also a great way to support these artists who are making all of this incredible work. Um, and the Exponential Festival doesn't take any of that money. We're really excited that we can, one of the perks of not being in spaces this year is we don't have to pay sort of to or negotiate that money aspect. It can just all go to the artist.
That's true. Well, I'll tell you, the upside of COVID is it has made people get even more creative in being able to present their art in whatever form that is. And so I'm always trying to look for the upside because I don't like to focus on the downside. And that is a definite upside is it gets people's brains going on how they can make it work, and how they can present what they love to do in a way that people can see it. So um, that's how I choose to see the upside of it. But,
Well,
yeah.
I agree, Mom, and I'm gonna bring myself back on video and hope that it lasts for at least um, but I just
Well,
wanted to do one last cheers with you. Ah, uh, and thank you for
oh,
the support of these artists, of me, of what people are
well,
trying to do. It means a lot to a lot of people.
well, I wish we had a lot of money to do even more. I mean, I really believe in what you're doing. I believe in the Exponential Festival. I want it to keep going and growing. And I just think for artists, it's so important. It's so, I mean, it's not just important, it is an absolute need. I mean, I really think that's what makes society last. It's what makes people human. It makes us matter. So it has to keep going.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. We should end this broadcast before Mom and I both like dissolve into tears. But I love you
What?
so much, Mom,
Uh,
and
I know.
I'll talk to you
You
very
cry
soon.
happy tears too.
It's true. These are
Okay.
happy ones.
I know.
uh,
Love you. And thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you for agreeing to do it. All
Hey,
right. I'll talk to you
I wasn't doing,
again
I would have had to be sad.
soon.
Love you.
Love you too.